We tend to operate on a baseline assumption that our physical senses are the ultimate judges of what is real. We treat biology as purely physical, the laws of physics as absolute, and the ancient myths of gods in the sky as fictional stories invented by primitive minds. In 1943, C.S. Lewis published a science fiction novel called Perelandra. He used the story as a wrecking ball, specifically designed to shatter this human-centric view of the universe. The narrative follows Elwyn Ransom, a human linguist standing in a valley on the planet Venus. He is there to witness a cosmic event that will force him to unlearn everything he thinks he knows about the nature of space and time. Before Ransom can see the truth of things, he has to realize that his human perception is an unreliable narrator. When the angelic beings that rule the planets first attempt to manifest before him, Ransom's brain undergoes a violent glitch. Unable to translate their presence into biological sight, he sees a terrifying tornado of darting pillars, cubes, and heptagons spinning into an infinite black void. A second attempt at manifestation is no clearer. This time, his mind interprets the entities as massive, interlocking concentric wheels, rotating with a sickening slowness. These geometric monstrosities are not the true form of the angels. They are the artifacts of a human sensory system failing to map a higher dimensional reality onto three-dimensional space. Our senses and our earthly physics represent the lowest rungs of the cosmic ladder. They function as a set of blinkers, keeping us blind to the true mechanics of the universe. Eventually, the beings stabilize into a form Ransom can comprehend: two 30-foot-tall humanoid figures, burning with the intensity of white-hot iron. Ransom immediately notices a physical contradiction. The figures appear slanted, and despite standing perfectly still relative to him, they look as if they are rushing forward at an impossible speed. In reality, it is the angels who are stationary. They are anchored to the absolute celestial frame of reference of the wider universe. The sense of speed Ransom feels comes from the planet Venus itself. It is spinning on its axis and rocketing through its orbit beneath their feet, creating the optical illusion that the static beings are the ones in motion. What we feel as solid, unmoving ground is a moving vehicle traveling through a much larger, static cosmic architecture. As Ransom examines the two angels, he sees that their bodies are entirely naked, yet they are completely devoid of any primary or secondary biological sex characteristics. Despite this lack of biology, he recognizes one as purely masculine and the other as purely feminine. They represent the rulers of Mars and Venus. Lewis characterizes these identities through their functions. Mars embodies regum and a state of armed vigilance. Venus embodies melody and an inward gateway to the renewal of life. This forces a rethink of our own biology. We assume that biological sex is the evolutionary origin of masculine and feminine traits, but here the relationship is reversed. Gender is described as a fundamental polarity that divides all created beings. Our organic male and female bodies are only faint, blurred reflections of this higher spiritual state. Our biology is an echo of a pre-existing architecture that exists long before organic life begins. Ransom eventually realizes that these figures are not just alien rulers. He is looking at the actual historical entities that humans once called Ares and Aphrodite. This raises a question. If Earth is an isolated planet, how did ancient humans accurately describe the characteristics of these extraterrestrial beings thousands of years ago? The text suggests that the universe functions as an interconnected web of minds, where no secret can be strictly kept. The mythologies of the Greeks and Romans were not fictions invented by primitive people. They were degraded memories of real celestial beings that bled into the human consciousness across vast distances. Human imagination did not create the gods. Humanity's collective memory simply retained faint, distorted echoes of them. This series of realizations leads to the story's conclusion. A grand procession of alien beasts gathers in a silence that fills the mountain valley. Through a cleft in the peaks, two figures emerge. They are the newly created king and queen of Venus, appearing exactly like two human beings. These two mortals are physically dwarfed by the burning 30-foot-tall gods of Mars and Venus. Beside the eternal archons, the humans look small and incredibly fragile. Then the immense planetary rulers step down from their authority. The gods kneel and bow their massive bodies before the two humans. In this cosmic order, our biological limits and flawed senses do not define our worth. Humanity is the intended culmination of this architecture, the heirs to the throne of the universe.